It's a good job. Yeah, I mean, you can protect people, but I don't see any British soldiers here. I haven't heard that they're going to come. So what else? That's a good idea, though. Yeah, what's up?
To shoot animals.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in detail. Any other ideas why we'd have guns? Because you don't see anybody else around here. None of you brought guns. What's that? Just practice shooting. Yeah, that's an absolutely good idea, too. So, police are after us. We could be here training as part of a militia muster. It's basically a big assembly that your whole town has. We could be defending the town, like you said, but the British soldiers are not yet coming to Lincoln in 1773. We could be shooting either as target practice, like you mentioned, or who mentioned animals? Yeah, could be shooting at animals. Now I'm going to offer you guys a trade. I'm going to ask you some more questions, yeah? And if you answer all those questions and play along, we'll shoot these muskets for you. Is that fair? Okay. So what animals, to your question, would you shoot in Lincoln back then? Today? What do you guys think? Turkey, okay. But most people in Lincoln back then had domesticated turkey. Pigs? Pigs are easy to kill. You don't need a musket to do that. Have you seen a wild pig? What's up? Deer? Okay, yeah, there are some deer in 1773 in Lincoln, but probably not as many as you'd find today. What up with the flag? The funny thing is that big animals that eat meat need a lot of space. So any animal like a wolf or a bear needs a lot of space, and that's not in Lincoln. Alternately, those animals are dangerous not only to eat you guys, but also to eat animals. So I would say there's no wolf, there's no bear, there's not really as many deer. Any animals that are in Lincoln are small and annoying, like a woodchuck, or a squirrel, or a chipmunk, right? They love to live in the stone walls, or rats. They're just small enough that you can't kill all of them, but they still are around. Now, what animals have replaced all those wild animals in Lincoln in 1773? You might have seen them if you go to Codman Farm down the road. You might see them at Drumlin Farm. Someone said cows. What else? Humans, lots of humans in 1773, over 600 people. Chickens, lots of chickens. People have barnyard chickens. Turkeys, yeah. What else? Pigs? Okay, so what you guys are saying is that there's a lot of tame animals because they're easier to kill, they're easier to control, and they're more useful. You don't have to go out looking for them. And you guys are absolutely right. What about pets? People in the 18th century had pets. Herman's got dogs. He goes and shoots birds with dogs to help him. Do you guys have cats?
Yeah.
Okay, people in the 18th century had cats. I'm going to tell you, there's some weird pets in the 18th century. Some people your age back then had pet squirrels. Putting that out there. But how do we make space for all of those cows that you mentioned? Okay, but what do we do to this field? Yeah. Do you guys looking at Pierce Park see many trees? Okay, there's a few. They look nice. There's a woodlot over there, and there's a little bit of forest because it's a big swamp and it's hard to get into. You can't farm there. I would argue that to build buildings, to heat those buildings, and to build fences, because what you're missing when you look at this stone wall here is that most stone walls in Lincoln in 1773 have a wooden fence on top of them that's 5 feet tall. Is that all the trees in most parts of town had to be cut down to build all that and to heat all that. So about a third of the town has trees in it, but the rest of it looks a lot like Pierce Park. Does that make sense? Now in that landscape that doesn't have trees, doesn't have big animals, what are we going to shoot? Probably. Unless a deer happens to wander in, or you are the unhappiest beaver that somehow makes it all the way into Lincoln. What's up?
I'll shoot.
You already said British. You don't get to say British.
Oh, people that try to kill you.
How often have people tried to do that?
If they're
That's a tricky question. What's up?
birds.
Yeah. Birds are the biggest thing that you're going to shoot at because they migrate. They come to you. They come in big flocks. Think about passenger pigeons filling the sky, and you can't see the sun. because there are literally millions of birds, or just ducks and geese that you guys will see today from your cars or anything like that. So you're probably going to shoot at birds. That's why I like to call Herman. You guys step up and just point to these guys here, and I'll do it with these guys over here. We're not going to shoot yet, because I've got a few more questions. To shoot at birds, we're going to use shot bags, which is this pouch here on my waist, or the one that hangs on his side. And this carries our tools so that we can make sure our gun's working, basically like a screwdriver. We're going to carry tow or another piece of wadding so that we can make sure our shots are accurate and that the bullets inside fit really tightly to our barrel. We're going to make sure that we have shot. So for instance, this little bottle's full of almost beads that allow me to more likely hit a bird because it's small and it's in the air. I'm not going to shoot a musket ball at it. But if I do need to, for instance, shoot at a woodchuck that has been digging up my carrots, I do have, in my pouch as well, musket balls. And so does he. So it allows us to take this gun here and make it a little bit more versatile by having shot to shoot at birds, and that's most of it, or a ball. We need gunpowder, you're absolutely right. We have that in our powder horns. Where do powder horns come from?
I don't know.
Cows, yeah, they got horns. Those horns are really great because you can clean them out. You can add a wooden plug at the back, and they're waterproof. So I could go hunting today, shooting at birds if I really wanted to. It could start pouring rain, and all of my gunpowder in that horn, it's a pound's worth of powder, more than I need for today, is going to stay dry. The same for him. Now the guns that we have are also adapted to shooting specifically at birds. You guys see how long these are? See how long his is? It makes them way more accurate because with those little balls shot, they need to spread out in the air, but not too wide, or we're not going to hit that goose and maybe feed that to our family as a nice surprise, that kind of thing. We could just go get a turkey at a farm yard like yours. But so we have fowling guns that allow us to shoot at birds. All of those are pretty similar in that they have a barrel. That's the metal tube that holds the explosion. They have a stock. I want to show the woodwork on that gun as well. And then on the side here, there's a lock. And this is a mechanism, works a lot like gears in our machine today, that allows you to reliably strike sparks to create an explosion that allows us to shoot at things. So, you guys are really out for blood today. I appreciate that. So we're going to show you that our guns here are not loaded, because we want to show you how that lock works. And if Herman steps up, I step up, we pull that piece of the mechanism back, then all of the tension is going to be resting on the trigger here. And we can let that go when we see that bird. This is going to slam forward, hit a piece of steel, and that flint on that steel is going to produce sparks. Yeah, friction. It's going to cut pieces of that steel off, and if you guys look really close at me and Herman, you'll see sparks. Those sparks fall into this pan, setting off that pan that goes through a small hole into our barrel, and out goes our explosion, out goes our shot. We hit that bird, we go home with a goose. Could be a passenger pigeon. They're now extinct, we can't shoot them. So if we have gear as civilians shoot at birds, I got some hard questions. Don't necessarily answer this one, just think about it. Should girls shoot muskets? Should women and moms have muskets? I'm just going to put that out there because some do in 1773. Some people defend their homes, some people serve in the army even, disguised as men. But it's not normal, and it takes a lot of effort to do that. Protecting your family when British troops, like you're saying, attack Lincoln in 1775 without a gun takes a certain kind of bravery as well. This one's really tricky. Should the color of your skin affect whether you can have a gun?
No.
Because that is a really tricky question that people are debating, arguing about, fighting over, and dying for in 1775. We can talk about that after. Now there is a contrast to people with shotguns that are going to shoot at birds just on their off time or going out hunting with their family. Doug can step forward. You do have Minutemen. These are men that are given special equipment that they either buy or the town buys for them so they can fight as soldiers. So he has on his back a knapsack, just like I've got here my knapsack. And it's basically a big backpack so that you can go away from home, almost like you're camping, but with guns, and serve as a soldier, right? Can you hold this? It's kind of heavy, right? Do you want to go walking 40 miles with that? Yes. It's up to you. I'm just saying, you also might need another weapon. Maybe just to look impressive, maybe to actually kill people. That's why Herman has a hunting sword here, because if a deer is wounded and you need to finish it off to be humane, he might use that when he's hunting. This is to hurt people. Not yet. Also, might need a water bottle, just like when you guys go hunting. Canteen, these are issued out into tens of thousands to militiamen, because they're going to be dehydrated if they go hunting for 40 miles. But the final piece is that you might need a cartridge box or pouch. And that's what only Doug has on his right hip. Inside this, he's going to open it up, put it on hopefully, are cartridges. This is all of that pieces of individual equipment, that ball, that powder, that wadding, and it's all pre-made, ready to go, and you can load and fire a musket very quickly. How many times do you think you can load and fire a gun with one of these rather than taking all those individual steps? How many times in a minute would you guess? 6 if you're really fast. Maybe more 4 or 5. Pretty likely, I would say. So what you're going to do for the next 2 minutes, because you guys have been very patient, you've answered all my questions, is we're going to put Herman here with his civilian shooting gear against Doug. None of you guys can cross over this line. You're going to move back just a little bit so everybody can see. And they're both going to shoot. If someone has a watch or a phone, it's one of the adults probably. Can I pick on one of you guys? Who's got a phone? Yeah? You've got a phone. Who's got a cell phone? Yeah. Could you, when I say go, start a timer for 2 minutes? And I'm hoping that you guys can see the difference in speed between someone loading with military ammunition that requires specific gear, but it costs a lot of money, and it's only for soldiers, and it's not for the shooting that most people do in their daily lives, versus Herman here, who's just shooting at birds on the weekend. You guys ready? Cool. Can you start that timer for 3 minutes? Out that powder horn plug. He then has to fill the measure. He has to put back the plug so nothing explodes. Then he has to take his very long barrel and he has to put the charge down the barrel. Then he has to take out his wadding, that toe. Could be pieces of an old saddle, could be pieces of an old hat. Anything that's sort of soft and spongy and will allow him to compress that charge deep down at the base of the bore so it has the most explosive power. He's going to ram that home with his rammer, but again, his barrel is very long, so he's shooting at birds, and Doug has already got off his first shot because everything was wrapped up, ready to go, pre-measured. He didn't have to mess around. This demo just got real. Herman is still loading his first shot. He hasn't been able to get off one, even though he's very because he's individually loading each piece, he's able to do it carefully, which maybe means that his shot is more accurate.
Where are
So we are not shooting bullets because there's people driving right up there. We don't want to hurt anyone. We don't want to scare anyone. We want to teach you guys about 1773. You can see that Doug, even when he's ramming that tight-fit ball down the muzzle of his gun, it takes time, but it's a lot faster than doing everything piece by piece, even though that's what most people in this town would be using.
Oh! It's just gunpowder. Yeah, it's just gunpowder.
But consider, again, what if it started raining today? What if it started raining and your black powder in your cartridges, like this, it turns into slush. It doesn't shoot, it doesn't work at all. You'll have to take this entirely apart, take out the ball, unroll the paper, lay out that powder and dry it. And Hermit, because he's got everything in a horn case, is ready to go whenever that rain stops, even if he's slow or too low. How are we doing on time? Has anyone been keeping count? Forgot to ask people.
5 shots for the soldier. 5 for the soldier.
Now it is important, whichever system you're using, that if you're shooting at a target, that you're taking your time to aim. This is not about blazing away and just going for speed. If you shot 6 times in a minute and didn't hit anything, you're a very good shooter. We don't have any balls in our guns.
When you shoot it like that, even if they wanted to. Shoot at because if I go to that house, they're fighting. I want to see you.
All right, you guys. I'm going to leave you with one final question. If most people living in Lincoln in 1773 lived in a town that looked pretty much like Pierce Park, at least in most parts of it, and there were lots of people, there were lots of cows, lots of groundhogs, not many beaver, not many wolves, not much forest, and they were used to shooting birds, particularly large flocks of birds that come by in the autumn, and they had civilian hunting guns, or what we'd call today shotguns, to shoot at those birds. In 1773, Lincoln has to debate whether to get ready for what you mentioned at the beginning. British troops that are in Boston and might raid Concord. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with is, should Lincoln, in 1773, going into the Revolution, get ready for war? It's going to cost a lot of money. The town could pay for it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy choice. And we can debate that after you guys go to your next stop. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you. Thank you.